Hey everybody, and welcome to the PlantStock channel. My name is Jesse, if we haven't met yet. And tonight we have some more and exciting news from our all-time favorite, VRYYF, the Very Good Food Company, aka the Very Good Butchers. Tonight we've found out that they have just started to hire people for a new strategic advisory board, which is going to help them in their ongoing expansion. Considering that Very has already started to expand into the US, into the rest of Canada, building the facilities, and now starting this new advisory board with some really fascinating, experienced people, I feel that we can feel certain that this is a company to reckon with. But then again, who are these people that they just hired? That's what we're going to focus on tonight. And then in the end, obviously, I'll give you some final thoughts on this whole thing. But before we get to it, as many of you know, if you would like to support my work, I would truly appreciate an early thumbs up, since it will really help spread this message. And if you want to keep getting more information regarding the Very Good Food Company or other plant-based stocks and companies out there, and maybe some investment strategies, make sure to subscribe and do not forget that bell button, right? Guys, as always, I really appreciate you. And if we quickly take a look at the stock chart, ticker symbol VERY, and the Canadian TSXV, we can see that it's actually at the moment still going down a little, around 520 Canadian dollars. And this is the movement we've seen the last 5 days. It's almost been trading sideways the last 4 days or so. And we know what's going on. It has to do with the volatility on the market regarding people still being nervous about the Fed, being nervous what's going on, if their interest rates are going to go up. And it's not only interest rates that the Fed could control. There are other forms of interest rates there that might go up or is actually going up at the moment. So people aren't that keen on investing at the moment and might be selling out. And in a video recently, I talked about the stimulus check being sent out to several of my American friends out there. And what could you do with that $1,400? Well, if you take a look at the video up there, I'll give you some suggestions, and I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the Very Good Food Company. So if we get into the news, the Very Good Food Company announces strategic advisor board. So they're creating a new advisory board to help them on their expansion, right? And Mitchell Scott had this to say, quote, "We're extremely fortunate to have such a seasoned team with diverse backgrounds in the CPG food space join us to help strategically grow and add value to both our consumers and Very overall." So here what we can see, they're introducing 4 people that are going to be part of this new advisory board that's going to help them with their ongoing expansion and their marketing. And first, they're introduced Justin Steinbach, who is a global leader in consumer packaged goods and food service industry with more than 18 years of experience in developing sales and marketing strategies for prominent food production companies. Well, he does have a lot of experience, but I just felt let's go in looking at his LinkedIn to get more information here. And here we have the guy. He's the global vice president of food service at VRYYF. I'm guessing most of you know about VRYYF. It's a huge pasta company, probably largest on the planet. Here in Sweden and Europe, it's super famous. Guys, let me know, how is it in the US? I'm guessing you guys know about VRYYF. I remember back in the 80s and 90s when there would be a lot of commercial from there about their different spaghettis, their different macaroons and pasta. It would always be, the way you should cook it, think about al dente. Cook it al dente. Anyone remembers that? So again, apparently, this is the vice president of the food service at VRYYF. And if we take a look at some of his experience, well, he's been working there for about 6 years and 5 months. And his focus has been to manage global food service for the VRYYF Group, business of about 350 million euros. I would say that's about $300 million or so in net sales, and 100 plus teammates. Focus on development, implementation, and execution of long-term strong strategic growth plan. And then we have something else that I found also very interesting is Danone, which is actually a company that produces a lot of plant-based products out there. Have you heard about Alpro and their different dairy alternatives. It's really huge here in Europe, and they're doing an excellent job there. So he worked there as a global director of sales and marketing and QSR. And what I found really interesting here too is that he doubled the business in 3 years from 550 million euros to 950 million, which kind of shows you that he actually knows what he's doing, right? But he's also a person who really works a lot with marketing, led the development of global food service and marketing strategies across Danone's professional dairy and Evian Waters division. So the kind of guy you want at the helm of an advisory board, right? And then we come to the next person, which is Jason Doolan. And who is this guy, Jason, then? Well, today he's a retired director of marketing at General Mills. He doesn't work there at the moment. I think he quit about 3 years ago. And right now he's working with personal or professional coaching. But he does have an extensive background. Again, 25 years. If we take a look here, he worked at General Mills for almost 25 years. He was the director of marketing in 2015 to 2017. And he assumed the leadership of General Mills snacks and meals portfolio in addition to responsibility for digital marketing and brand design. I took a look at General Mills. It's a huge company, right? It's about $36 billion worth. So it's a huge company. And then he was the director of marketing between 2005 to 2015 in Toronto, Canada. He led the General Mills cereal team for 10 years. It was recognized for delivering transformational results, both in terms of business growth, driving over 5 points of share growth, which is obviously huge. But something that I feel excited about is that he also seems to be incredible when it comes to marketing. And I think he has some proof of that here, right? If we take a look at here, it's he in the strategy magazine, he was considered the marketeer of the year, Jason Doolan's Breakfast of Champions. And also, if we read more here, noted as one of the first and most prolific, purpose-driven marketers at General Mills. He believes that marketing can also and should help enrich the lives of our consumers. So this definitely seems like a guy who's also perfectly situated to help the Very Good Food Company. And then we have the other team member here, which is Nikki Soff, who's the VP of Sales at Koya. And she's worked there for 3 years. But before, she's also, or I'm not sure, she seems to be working there. Yeah, she used to work at Khalifa Farms, which is also a plant-based company, where she accelerated the launch of Khalifa into Canada with key natural specialty and mass retailers using key distributors and engaging broker network to create and grow consumer excitement and retailer acceptance. And as stated in the article, she is a seasoned sales leader who helps companies become disruptors in their space, like Very, particularly those in the plant-based food industry. Perfect. Her experience launching and expand brands in both the United States and Canada make her an ideal partner, which it definitely sounds like. And then in the end, they talk about Coran Webster, who's over 15 years in the natural and health food industry and currently serves as a strategic sales leader with passion for mission-based brands. I also like that this person worked for Vega, which is a premium plant-based food brand where she held various sales-focused roles. And recently, she held the position of Director of Sales at Smart Sweets, a company that tries to create sugar-free candy without using artificial sweeteners. But if we take a quick look at her profile here in LinkedIn too, we can see that right now, yep, like we said, she's the VP of Sales at Webco Mill Supply. She works as the advisor for Belly Welly. And then, as we talked about recently, she worked at Smart Sweets. And here we see Vega, which is a huge company. I do know that they're quite famous for their protein powders. And I do follow, I've seen a lot of top athletes out there that promote the Vega brand. So people, before we move on, let me know down in the comments, what do you feel about this news? So what are my final thoughts on this? Well, as I think many of you can realize, I'm very excited about that. And why is that? Because I do think that this actually signals something important, that Very is here to stay, right? Hiring an advisory board with this kind of experienced personnel, with this kind of extensive background in the food industry, but also a lot of them already have worked with plant-based food, and also marketing being one of the key strategies here. I think it's really exciting. And we're starting to see the snowball effect here, right? What do I mean by that? Well, I'm picturing a small snowball on the top of a Canadian mountain that is started to roll down ever so gently and slowly. And as it starts to roll down more, it starts to gain more and more mass of snow, right? Which means that it gets more and more visible and it gets faster and faster and faster. And this is also true of the Very Good Food Company, right? I mean, it started a couple of years ago and it IPO'd now back in June of 2020. It was really small, didn't have a lot of revenue, and not many people knew about it, but it has been starting to expand more and more, and it's going quicker and quicker. I think we're going to see an even quicker expansion here. And as like the snowball, it's getting more and more visible, which is going to be really good for consumers, right? Because they're going to find out about the Very Good Food Company. So it's going to be visible for people who wants to buy the product. But that also means, because they're interconnected, that when people find out about the product, the company becomes more and more famous. So it becomes visible for more and more shareholders. One of the reasons why they've actually uplisted right now on the TSXV, right? So that means more investment. The stock is going to grow. The company is going to grow. Again, it benefits both the company and us shareholders. And it also gets me thinking about the valuation of the company, right? Especially people who look at the company and don't want to invest it because they're using valuation metrics that doesn't make sense to them, that they feel that the company is still very overvalued. And I just have to say, they don't see the potential with this company. They don't understand the growth aspect. They don't understand the industry and how fast this is actually going to change. I mean, as we've talked about so many times, it's not only that they're expanding in a rapid pace now, right? That they're delivering on what they're talking about, that they're creating the facilities, but not only the facilities in itself, it's the immense, enormous production capacity, the ridiculous production capacity that they're going to be able to deliver on. And constantly during this time, during these 9 months or so, they're hiring the right people all along. People from Amazon, people from other famous plant-based companies with huge experience in this whole sector, right? And now finally, they're creating an advisory board with extremely experienced personnel, as I showed you, that's really going to help them on this path. So what we can see right now on this advisory board, they do seem to be really serious players, right? So I'm getting more and more convinced, as I've talked about before, that VRYYF is not only going to become large, they're going to be huge. I think there could be a generational company, a company that's not only here to stay, but that we can talk about to our children about and our grandchildren. It's here to stay, definitely. And I've been starting to consider more and more the video I did a couple of weeks ago regarding that I do see that VRYYF could become a $80 stock from where it's at now. I'm wondering if I should reconsider that, right? That it might be higher. But if you haven't seen that video yet, take a look at it up here in the corner. So obviously, as you can see, I'm really excited about this news. Guys, let me know, again, what do you feel about this? Let's have a little interaction going here. Well, folks, I truly hope you got some value in today's video. And if you did, please help me out by giving me a thumbs up. And if you want to keep getting more information regarding VRYYF, the Very Good Food Company, make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget that bell button. And if it is possible that you've forgotten, remember guys, I am not a financial advisor. These are just my own thoughts and opinions. It's always important to do your own due diligence and invest safe. Really hope to see you soon. Peace out.